Let me guess. You've got something you really need to do today. But here you are watching this video instead. Trust me, I'm not judging. In fact, I've been right there with you. Rearranging bookshelves, alphabetizing spice jars, suddenly deciding it's the perfect time to clean out that one drawer in the kitchen that hasn't seen daylight since 2017. All while something important sits quietly and very much annoyingly on my to-do list. Do you find yourself putting off tasks until the last minute and think, wait, why am I delaying this work? You know the task, you know the deadline, and yet suddenly reorganizing your sock drawer just feels so urgent. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And what if I told you that some people actually procrastinate intentionally? Yeah, on purpose. That makes you curious, right? Why would anyone deliberately choose to procrastinate? Well, Mark Twain once said, never put off till tomorrow what may be done day after tomorrow just as well. Translation? He basically gave us permission to procrastinate forever. If Twain were alive today, he'd probably be the guy with 47 tabs open on his computer, telling you, relax, you can totally do it next week or whenever. Hi, I'm Kate. I'm an expat who likes to make YouTube videos about living the best life you can. I live in Indonesia, but it doesn't matter where you live. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Kate's Wandering Thoughts. Let's talk about why we sometimes delay things we actually want to do, and whether procrastination is really just a secret message from your brain. So when you intentionally put things off, you know you'll regret it later, don't you? Yeah, like you've got a task sitting there staring at you, but instead of diving in, you suddenly decide, it's the perfect time to clean the kitchen. You scroll down everything on your phone, or maybe you alphabetize your bookshelves, right? Yeah, same here. I've been there, done that. And here's the weird part. Sometimes I know I'm procrastinating, and I do it anyway. That got me wondering about why we sometimes procrastinate on purpose. You know, in Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara said, I can't think about that right now. If I do, I'll go crazy. I'll think about that tomorrow. Sorry for the bad accent there. But sometimes that's how I feel about a task I'm trying to do. And I think that sometimes intentional procrastination can actually be effective. I know it sounds a little silly when you first hear it. Why would anyone deliberately delay something they know needs to get done? Don't you want to get it done and get it out of the way? But when I really thought about this whole idea, I realized procrastination isn't always about laziness or poor time management. Sometimes it's about emotions, stress, uncertainty, or even a little weird mental rebellion that says, you can't make me, even if the you is you. Sometimes I procrastinate because I'm overwhelmed. I'll suddenly convince myself that future me will be better equipped to handle this task. Do you have those thoughts about future you? Well, spoiler alert, future me is just as human as present me. Future you is just as human and fallible as present you. Other times it's about perfectionism. If I don't start, I can't mess it up, right? If I wait until the conditions are perfect, the lighting, the mood, the exact right energy level, then maybe I'll really nail it. But that magical moment never actually arrives, does it? No. Meanwhile, the stress of not doing it builds, and I'm stuck in this strange cycle of avoidance and anxiety. Sound familiar? And then there are times I procrastinate just because I'm tired, emotionally, mentally, or physically drained. My body's telling me to rest, but my to-do list is yelling louder. So I ignore both and I go do something completely unrelated. Not restful, not productive, just distracting. Sound familiar? When we label it procrastination, well, that's just a way of beating ourselves up for not being constantly productive. But then there are times when we procrastinate over and over again, especially on the same types of tasks. When that happens, it's worth asking why. Am I bored? Am I scared of failing? Am I not really interested in what I'm supposed to be doing? Do I even want to complete this task? Or is it something I agreed to out of obligation? Asking yourself these questions gently, not with judgment, just with a little bit of curiosity, you can help to get yourself the real reason behind your procrastination. Once you know why you're delaying something, it's a lot easier to shift your approach. Sometimes I trick myself into starting. I'll say, okay, I'll just work on this for 5 minutes. That's all, just 5 minutes. And more often than not, once I get started, I keep going. Other times, I'll change my environment. I'll go to a different room, put on a timer, or even talk it out with a friend. Small changes can spark momentum more than we might think. More importantly, I've stopped labeling myself as a procrastinator. That word carries so much guilt and shame. I'd rather say, sometimes I wait until I'm ready. And you know what? Sometimes waiting might actually be the smartest move. Sometimes we actually need a break. For example, I know that my brain operates better in the morning than in the afternoon. By afternoon, sometimes the task seems too big or too complicated, and my brain goes into flight mode. So I figured that I should just relax and tackle the job in the morning when I'd be more focused, more organized, more motivated, and my brain would be working. That's when I procrastinate on purpose. Do you do that? Procrastinate on purpose? Maybe, but maybe it's your brain's way of telling you something. Something that you're tired, that you're afraid, or that something needs to change. And once you start listening to it instead of judging it, things get a lot easier. You're not lazy, you're human. And you'll get there one honest step at a time. And don't beat yourself up in the meantime. Thanks so much for watching. If you've been beating yourself up for procrastinating, I hope this gave you a gentler way to look at it. You're not lazy, you're human. And sometimes procrastination is just your brain's way of asking for space, clarity, kindness. If this video helped you feel better, go ahead and share it with someone who could use the reminder as well. And don't forget to keep watching for more honest, thoughtful content, just like this. Until next time, be kind to yourself and take that next step only when you're ready. Bye for now. See you next time.